Hello, future tubers, hopefully. Welcome back to... I don't even know if this is a new episode or a stitched together old episode. We're recovering from a hard drive, well, not a hard drive, a computer crash. The game, Streamlabs, my recording software, everything crashed. I had to hard reset my computer. And I'm back now, so the game, at least, is generous with autosave, so we have lost very little progress, but it did completely destroy the last video. So whatever we were at, I think we were around an hour in, is gone. So this might just be added to the end of that if I can recover it from Twitch. We're on our way to the bottom of the third tablet dungeon, if I can find the third tablet, and we've been kind of getting a bit lost here. And surely my hard crash is not going to make things any better in the short run. But we will do the best I can. I'll try to get things moving along here. Oops, well, I meant to do a summon there. I wonder if, I don't know what these guys are weak against, but I wonder if Black Magic AoE can replace a summon at this level, you know? They must be weak to lightning. Because that was more damage than, that was definitely more damage than what we were getting out of Sildra for Air Elemental. Okay, so we were here before, but what am I missing? Now I'm really far out of it because it's been so long. So I don't even remember. I know I was lost, but I don't remember where I was planning on going. I mean, we can go all the way back up those stairs, but that doesn't... I feel like we need to be going down, right? We had a thief for most of this, so we would have seen secret passages. Am I forgetting something? We're also leveling Kryl as a monk. We just changed that recently. She probably won't be as strong as she was back as a samurai, but we'll live. Is it... There wasn't like another staircase on this floor, was there? I mean, these trap falling floors are usually like... Maybe we need to fall down a hole, yeah. It's kind of a obtuse if this is progression, yeah. I feel like I get stuck on that every time until you realize there's no other way to go, and you basically have to fall down a second trap pit. This game, you know, for all the good things about it, it's a weird way to get here, you know? It's weird. Wait, I missed the third tablet, didn't I? I didn't realize this was supposed to be the last one. Can't exit out of here. Oh no, a demon monster! Now, I guess you're probably supposed to do this before Phoenix Tower and Bahamut, but I do things my own way. Which is weird, because if this is the fourth one, you would get Leviathan after 4 tablets. Which means you're supposed to do Phoenix and Bahamut after all 4, even though they unlock after 1 tablet. He's nice enough to give you a second to prep for him. Very generous, Leviathan. Do we want to make any quick changes? Nah, we good. I'll only help you if you are stronger than I am, in which case you don't need my help. Alright, lots of damage going on. I should probably put Golem on right away, but I will. People are just gonna die. I do also want to haste. We might want to try to slow him as usual, but Kryl doesn't get auto haste anymore, so gotta do that. Alright, so monk damage about 2,500. Not as good as samurai damage. Now, I assume he's weak to lightning, but we don't know for sure. Slow didn't work. Not a huge surprise. Slow's not as accurate in this game, sadly. I do like diagonal walking, especially on the overworld and towns. Maybe in dungeons, not so much, but it saves some time on the big world maps. Let's see how Thundiga does here. Oh, snap. I do know that I typically bring Spellblade along a lot more, so I'd probably have Thundiga Spellblade and just be doing, 10,000 damage a swing. But we don't have that, so... Well, you could also Berserk, but you wouldn't even need Berserk with it. I wonder... It's probably not worth the longer attack on... And then you don't even get it. See, this is why Focus is a terrible ability. Sometimes you're charging up your attack, but because you delay it, you'll just be interrupted and get nothing. Just waste your attack you could have had. Like, it doesn't really matter, though. We're doing too much damage with Lightning Elemental and just the Maz immune. So, okay. Another Reflect Ring. Those are alright. And another summon. Now, this might actually be the highest damage summon. I believe it does more base damage than either Phoenix or... what am I trying to say? Sildra. It doesn't cost... It does cost... No, it's cheap. Its base cost is only a little bit higher than Sildra, but it does do more damage. It's Water Elemental, which very few enemies are strong against. Some enemies are weak to, but not too much is strong to water. It's a pretty rare restriction. But you can boost that with the Magus Rod, which you cannot with Bahamut. So Sildra boosted was already kind of beating out Bahamut. I'm pretty sure Bahamut or Leviathan boosted will always beat out Bahamut. And we're still missing one, I guess. We'll see what the last summon is somewhere. I think it's in the third tablet cave that we skipped. So... In this situation, we only got the one Magus Rod. But the only way to boost water damage, as far as I know, is the Magus Rod. So you probably want to throw that on your Summoner at this point, once you've got that, for Leviathan. And then your Black Mage is just kind of like, whatever, dude. He's got Flare anyway, so he doesn't even really need... Very rarely. Like, we were getting Thunder-boosted Thundiga on a boss weak to Thunder. So that works really good, but if they're not weak to anything, Flare is going to be better anyway. But, yeah, you can certainly equip all those things. Or you could try Wonder Wand if you want, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, Leviathan down, Tablet down. That means we should go get some more weapons. There might not be any way out of here other than... How would you get... Like, what if you were doing a no magic run? Yeah, there's a way out. There has to be. You don't always have exit. We went all the way down the waterfall and then fell right back to where we started. Totally normal. Honestly, the diagonal movement, I think you might like it more when you play it. Because I remember thinking it was a bit strange the first time, too. But, it becomes very natural. That's not as much damage as I remember, but maybe they're not super weak. I'm kind of expecting over 4,000, but maybe I'm mixing up Final Fantasy 4 and 5 a little. Maybe the Magus Rod doesn't boost it. It should. Maybe Leviathan is technically non-elemental in this game, which makes it always worse than Bahamut. That would be unfortunate. Keep in mind when I'm blabbering on about how things work in Final Fantasy V. I mean, I've said it before, but I always forget. This is not my specialty. Like, I forget a lot of details, and I'm just not Like, I've learned a lot of stuff about this game. I've watched some speedruns, I've watched some single class challenges, I've watched quite a lot of content. And I've played through it quite a few times. I should know how the game works pretty well. But for some reason it always kind of fades out of my mind. It never sticks. I mean, I have played Final Fantasy 1 more. But the mechanics for this game just don't lock in the same. So there is one more tablet. It's underwater somewhere, I'm pretty sure. Something like this. This was the way to the Great Forest back before the world, right? So this was not the one. I guess we'll just keep exploring underwater. I'm pretty sure there's one more thing. I don't remember where it is. This is, again, just like I was saying, I don't remember things very well. I don't know why. Like, honestly, there are games I've played less than this that I remember better. This maybe was one of the ways up before, but I don't think it is anymore. For instance, another Super Nintendo game to compare would be Lufia 2. I've played Lufia 2 3 or 4 times in my life. Something like that. I Let's Played it, so, you know, that was good. And I definitely played it through before Let's Playing it a couple times. I've already Let's Played it. I think I streamed it too. That was one of my quickie blast through some old Super Nintendo RPGs I love. I won't be doing it again. But just as an example here, what I'm trying to say, I remember where stuff is, and that game has like a billion towns. But I remember where stuff is in Lufia. Everything is quite memorable. Like, and I would say oftentimes I remember the mechanics and the map better in Lufia 2 than I do in Final Fantasy V. But I've definitely played this game more. And I still forget details. Like, I'd say I remember the job mechanics pretty well for most of the jobs I like. But something about Lufia 2, a lot of things stick better. I don't know. I'd say that's kind of how it is. Like, some games are just more memorable. They stick in my mind better. But like, Final Fantasy V does, like, I would say 4 and 6 don't have that problem. Everything is, well, and I mean, you played those games. I mean, I played those games younger, but I've played 5 comparable number of times to 4 and 6. Not as often, but not that different. But I just don't remember 5 hardly even nearly as well as 4 or 6. Like, it's weird. It's weird. I don't know where to go. Where's the... is there anywhere that can give you a refresher on... I mean, I could look it up, but like in the game, if you're lost like me, and you forgot the little rhyme riddle, is there anywhere that reminds you of like, oh, blah, 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 blah? The book's gone, right? That's where we got it originally. Oh, actually, I do know. The, first, I forgot to get my legendary weapons, and the sages outside the castle with the legendary weapons, they tell you the thing again. I do remember that. And that was... like this map. I'm always just randomly flying around. I don't know where anything is. But yeah, these guys, the main dude tells you. I'm pretty sure. Yes. Blah, blah, blah. 4 tablets. Okay, that's the first one. We already did it in the pyramid. That's the one on the island in the middle with the bridge. This is on the ocean's floor, engulfed by flames. That's the one we don't have. And we did the river torrent protected by water. That one's like easy. River torrent sounds like a waterfall. And the waterfall is very suspicious. So underwater with lava. Also, meteor. We don't have meteor yet. So it's going to be the magic one, right? Yeah, we need meteor and we need the 3rd tablet. I knew it was underwater, and I kind of remembered it being fiery, so but I don't know where that is. That doesn't tell me. Underwater lava dungeon. Where is it? I don't know, man. We could probably kill these shield dragons by now. We're getting pretty strong. You can make a counter build at a much lower level for a lot of these enemies. But even now we can probably just brute force it. Although our running here is just abysmal. The thing is, even if you kill it, like, it just runs away. I don't think you even get anything out of it, right? Like, it's a completely troll waste of time fight. And that, I mean, man, our team's let me down. It's because we don't have a thief, you know. Thief. Alright, tablet, technically 4, but you can get them in, well, not any order. I guess you have to get 1 and 2, but you can get 3 and 4 in any order, I guess. We've got a spear, a bell, a harp, staff, a whip, and a bow. I should try out Dragoon. I know they're not very good. Comparatively, not a good job in this version. Or not this version specifically, but this entry to the series, Final Fantasy V, Dragoons and Spears, well, they might be better than Berserkers, but it's not saying much. They're probably second or third worst melee job. If you... melee DPS job, second or third worst. I mean, obviously harps and bells, you know, whatever. Bow is not going to be very good, I don't think. At least anyone that can equip... My mages can probably equip the Sage Staff. I don't remember exactly what it does. I know the Magus Rod was good, but I don't remember if this one actually has much value. You can probably cast Cure if it were free or some dumb thing like that. But we'll see. Maybe it'll boost the power of Holy. That would be better. So what do you guys think? Does anyone in chat have a preference? I'll give the live tubers a vote. We've got 1 out of 4. Bow, whip, harp, bell. Whichever one we get, I will try to show off a little bit in the next dungeon. I promise little. If I give it to chat. Oh, I'm surprised the first vote wasn't for a harp to go more bard, because boy do people love bards. Oh, those future tubers, you're going to be real sad you weren't here live to argue for more bard. The Yoshi bow, sure. We'll end up with them all anyways, doesn't really matter, but... Wouldn't it suck if you could only get 9 out of 12, or 3 out of 12, and you had to leave a couple behind? When I first played, I'm pretty sure my first playthrough, I missed one of them, and I'm just like, well, I guess we'll never see what those are. I thought the game only gave... I think the first version was either... When I first played, it was either not translated or only partially translated, so I didn't get the idea that there was 4 tablets with 3 each. I thought there maybe only was 2 or 3 tablets, so you had to pick and choose which of these 12 weapons you got to keep. And as a first-time player, you didn't know quite as thoroughly that the harp and the bell were terrible. Also... on the Super Nintendo, the sprites aren't quite as clear as they are here. So, I may have... I don't know which ones I picked my first time. I probably still picked all the swords and spears, but, yeah. I didn't know the Magus Rod was actually good in the original version. Alright, let's see what we have. So, now, we actually don't have anyone that can equip the Sage's Staff in our current jobs. Only white mages and, something else. So let's have a pop. Sage's Staff. Oh, you can cast Raise with it. That's not bad. And it says it strengthens Holy. Wow, it actually does that. Okay, you know what? If it does actually make Holy 50% stronger, which is a guess. Holy is pretty cheap with the gold hairpin. 10 MP is not much. Holy was already doing about the same damage as Flare. 50% more actually makes it single target only, but definitely comparable to like a Leviathan Bahamut kind of summon. So that's if you wanted a classical white mage, this might be a first pick. Although you won't have Holy early on. It takes a little long. You might want to save it for your second pick. But yeah, and then free raise isn't terrible. So okay, spear attack power good. 109, that's up there with Excalibur and Massa, right? I'll just sort these again. Excalibur is the best at 110 plus strength. But in theory, 109, almost as strong with 3 strength. It's very much like Excalibur, except you cannot use it two-handed, which is generally my default, and I don't understand why you can't use a spear with 2 hands. If there's any weapon that is one-handable or two-handable for more reach or power, it should be a spear or a lance. That's the first thing that should be versatile one- and two-handed, because in real life, lots of spears are two-handed, and you can use them with one hand, but with less power. Swords, sure, there's lots of swords that are one- or two-handable, but not, like, you have to be a long sword, right? You've got to be pretty big for 2 hands to help. A little short sword with 2 hands doesn't really do much. But no. So anyway, in this game, and again, that's just one of those balance tweaks. I don't know why lances are one hand only. Seems dumb. You can two-hand axes, which sort of makes sense. So that means basically the only build that works for the Holy Lance is a dual wielding, because you want to have, unless you want shields, you could go for tankiness. Sure, I'm complaining about how weak my characters are, and we never equip shields, but you know, whatever, shields. Psh. My best shield is like 33-40% evasion, a little bit of defense, a little bit of magic defense. It's not that good. I mean, it does protect you from one element or one status, but you know, they're not that good. I would take the double damage over that anytime. So the only people that can dual wield naturally are ninjas, but ninjas can't equip lances, so that doesn't work. So you could be a dragoon that has already mastered ninja, and then you could equip dual wield to your dragoon, and then you could dual wield the Holy Lance and their second best lance. You know, the second best lance, I guess, maybe the twin, maybe, probably the double attack is better. But that's a pretty big damage dump. The thing is, if you master Dragoon and everything else, Ninja especially, you can play as a freelancer that can equip any weapon and dual wield any weapon. I think you get dual wield for free. I think that was the thing I kept mixing up, is the two-handing ability from Knight that's really good. Only, you have to equip that passively. Like, you have to actually spend a slot to equip it. But you can just dual wield for free once you've got Ninja. And seeing as Holy Lance is basically as strong as Excalibur, well, wherever it is. There it is. You might as well dual wield Excalibur and Holy Lance, and that's pretty good. So it's a fine weapon. It's just Dragoon on its own, not great, and unfortunately you can't two-hand it, which means it's only an end-game weapon. Like, of all the 12 weapons, I'd say that one is the exact example of you don't do it until you're done job leveling, because it's only really viable either as a normal Dragoon with shields and jump and all that nonsense, which is kind of weak, or as a freelancer dual-wielding a lance, one of the best weapons in the game, and something else. Anyway, I've rambled and rambled. I did get another weapon, didn't I? Didn't I pick something else? What else did I get? Oh, I sorted them. Oh, we got a bow, right. Yeah. It's, is it worth it? Remember when we got that Artemis bow, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good, 111? So the legendary bow is 10 points weaker than the bow we found in a dungeon, just laying on the ground somewhere. I don't know what they're trying to do here. I mean, sure, you get a little bit of strength and agility. That makes up for some of the 10 points. It does not make up for all 10 points, I don't think. It might give you an extra couple points of damage, but not 10. And, also, no special effects. As far as I know, no haste, no regen, no special anything. This one at least does bonus damage against an enemy type, if you run into that one. And besides the fact, Rangers are pretty bad. So you have to play as a kind of a bad job. I would say Ranger is even worse than Dragoon as far as jobs go. To equip. Like, to be the job. I'd rather be a Dragoon, at least with a heavy armor, than a Ranger. Jump is not great, but at least you can stay in the back row and not take any damage, mostly. The Ranger, I don't know. I just don't love him very much. Anyway, I will definitely equip the Holy Lance eventually. I'll try to show off Dragoon at some point. I'll try to show off Ranger a little bit, I guess, but I'm not promising much for that. And, right, we need a White Mage to test out Holy, but those all, like, Holy sounds good. Once you've got the Holy Spell, second tablet, I would say that's a pretty good pick to get that Sage Staff. Now, maybe it'll turn out that the Bell, the Harp, and the Whip were really good. Maybe the Whip makes Flare stronger. Because it's like Rydia with Flare. I wouldn't get too excited, but... we need to summon Titan, or Leviathan a couple more times, just to see. I want to see this do like 4,000 damage, come on. Trees aren't strong against tidal waves, right? I'm not feeling it. I don't think that gets boosted. I think that's a little bit less damage than Bahamut, and it doesn't get boosted by the Magus Rod, which is the dirtiest trick ever, if that's true. So if Leviathan Summon doesn't get boosted by water on the Magus, then it's definitely just a discount Bahamut. We could check this sea. There could be something in here. Where was kind of like a volcano hot area before? We haven't really had a fire dungeon, have we? I guess like X-Death's castle was all lava-y and kind of like hell, but I don't think that's exactly what we're going for. It's funny how I remembered where the mime job crystal was that I never use, but I have no idea where the plot important dungeon is. This was the one with the water crystal. I'm pretty sure I checked this inner sea like first, honestly. Maybe I was just blind? What about the... there's like a small sea to the east there. That was the first tablet, or no, second tablet. You know, if it was game design too, you might want to spread the tablets out. So if you're close to one of the tablets, you might guess that the other one, there's nothing nearby, right? You have to travel a fair distance. They might be spread out reasonably evenly, and there it is. So how would you just guess that this was it? Is there anything volcanic in this area? Is it just totally random? Oh, you know what? This is probably right by the fire crystal. Yeah. Okay, okay. Blue maybe just didn't think, hey, remember there was a fire crystal here with a castle that was on fire and exploded? Yeah, water and fire. Okay. You know, underwater near the fire. I don't think I ever even put that together in my entire life. If I said that during my first Let's Play, then I'm a genius. But I have a feeling I never actually made that connection, so... The problem with Final Fantasy V is just that Blue is dumb and never gets any of the references. Alright. Let's just have a little snooze and then we'll head on in there. Looks like this is not just going to be an extra at the end of the episode for the future tubers. I don't know when... With the whole crash thing, I don't even know if the last episode is salvageable. So if we're missing a batch, I should have explained what you missed at the beginning of the episode. Sorry. I'll probably find a way to recover it, but we're just going to keep recording for now because it's pretty late and I really want to finish this game tonight, not in a month. Hello, babies. I'm Mr. Cleo, your psychic friend. If this is not the third tablet, I don't even know what this is. No. Okay, we have to say yes. But thou must. This isn't... What? Is this... Was this in the original game? I don't remember this at all. This is not the dungeon. This is some random completionist checkpoint. I am so confused. I thought I was so clever, like, ah, this must be the place. I don't remember that at all. If that's new for the Pixel Remaster, fine. But if that was there in other editions, I don't remember it even a tiny bit. And if that's not the dungeon, then we're right back to square one with, I have no idea where they would put a fire dungeon underwater. The fire crystal underwater made a lot of sense now. But if that's not it, then I don't know. And we are pretty close to the fourth one. Okay, let's think. Northwest was a tablet. Southwest in the desert was the first one. Sort of center-south was the second one. So you'd expect maybe northeast to be the one missing, right? If you're trying to spread them out on the map. But what would be fiery and watery? This was the water castle, which is where the mime guy was. Pirates. That's where we're getting all our stuff. I don't even remember what this town is. Let me just see what town this is. Rigole. I don't remember this town at all. Hey guys, do you know where the third tablet is? Oh, this was the Welcome to World 2, you're gonna die, have a checkpoint before you go further town. Basically totally forgettable, nobody town. This is where Butts' town was. That's the Wind Shrine. And then this whole spot was all Bahamut and Phoenix, so maybe this section of the map is for those. I don't want to look it up. I want to figure it out, but this is kind of killing me. Am I really just dumb? Let me just double check. This was the starter sea at the very beginning of the game. I feel like I checked this already, but I mean, it did say like underwater wreathed in flames, so like it has to be from the sub. I'm pretty sure. Seems like a dead end. The underwater map is reminding me of a skull the more I look at it. Actually, both the overworld and the underwater map, but the overworld's covered up by all those yellow dots. If you look at the map and look at the right continent, it kind of looks like the water, the two seas are eyes and nose. You know, this is the eyeball. This is the other eye that got slashed out in a battle. This is the little nose on it. And then this is either the chin, or you could go like this whole lower section is like his jaw sort of grinning at you, with the bottom line being the jaw. Maybe. But if you skip that, at least the skull would go to here. Okay, I'm definitely going crazy. Why am I struggling here? The hint was terrible. That's why I'm struggling. You know what, game? You're not the boss of me. I can do what I want. FFV tablet 3 location. This is the internet era. We go where we want to go. Remember back in 90s, if you're old enough, when you're playing these kinds of games, and you had to just... You know how long, like if you said this game takes 50 hours, 40 hours, like they'd sell this game. Like, this is a 40-hour video game, because that's how long the average first-timer takes to beat it or something. How many of those hours were wandering around looking for the dungeon that they don't tell you about? There's a crack. Where is the crack in the sea? Just some random sea spot. We're looking for the Great Trench. I don't know how you'd ever guess where it is. I'm going to try to figure it out. It's where the fire dwarves live, apparently. It's where all the Final Fantasy IV dwarves drowned eventually. After they kept exploding the entrance to their underground realm, apparently the ocean would have drowned them all eventually, which, you know, makes a bit of sense. I still don't even see where it is. Having seen the tile, I think I tried this area. This is one of the first places I flew to, or submarined to. I think the overworld map doesn't line up squarely to how I remember the game. I always thought, like, when I first did this, if you can go back and check the footage, but I feel like one of the first things I did was, like, kind of the bottom of this sea passage. I came down here and I sailed south. I did something like that. And I think it's because that's where Tablet 3 is, somewhere along here in the middle of nowhere. And maybe at one point, when I was younger, maybe I had a better brain, or I played more often, and I would have remembered exactly where it was. Because, you know, you must have found it once or twice. But I want to see if there's any landmarks near it, because I think as I get older, I probably am a little bit more critical of design and games. You know, you become, I think probably most people do this, you know, as you get older, you get a little bit more refined, right? Like, you've seen more, you've seen the good, you've seen the bad, you've got a more, well, refined, but not in the elitist sense exactly, just more like, you know what you like. And you have seen good games and bad by now, for sure, hopefully, if you live long enough anyway. So I think as I get older anyway, I am a little bit more picky about this stuff. And as a kid, I might not have even thought about it. I was just like, whatever, I finally found it. Yay, I got the secret dungeon that took me 5 hours to find. But those 5 hours, you know, whatever. I was a kid. What else would I have been doing? Homework? Taking the dog for a walk? I don't know, there's nothing to do. There was no YouTube. There's no other video games. You had one video game, and if you're lucky, you get another one for Christmas or your birthday. You know, maybe you go rent one if you're really lucky at the Blockbuster. Yeah, you know, back in the old days, when it was the 90s. Some of you guys know. Anyway, now it did suck when you had only 2 days if you were renting it to finish the game. If you had 2 or 3 days and you were stuck for 4 hours doing this because you had no friggin' idea where the thing you needed was. Maybe this is why I never got all 12 legendary weapons, because I was just like, whatever, I can just fly into the void and go beat the game. Why is it so hard to find? Is it really just in the open sea at the bottom? Like, at least if they put a mark on your map, right? Like, okay, there's a dot. Hold on. See the right side of the map? I can zoom in. Can I zoom in? There's no zooming. I can only zoom that one. Okay. I made a screenshot. Awesome. That's going to help. Hold on. Haha! It is sort of on the map. So, if you look at this map, you can see a very, very faint circle with a dot in it. It's pretty faint. And you kind of have to know where to look already. Because you can see some of those dots in other places on the map. It's almost an optical illusion. Okay, but why would you think to go here? Is there any logical reason to think that the third tablet, and we just read the riddle like 10 minutes ago, something fire sheathed in water, blah blah blah. Why would you go to this spot on the overworld? Before we had YouTube and game FAQs and walkthroughs and stuff. Is there anything that you would think, Volcat? I mean, is this a finger pointing? Is that the trick? You go follow the finger? But that just takes you right straight to here. Oh, we've been here before. It's between the finger, the middle finger, and the butt on the left ear of the skull. Like, I don't know. There's nothing here. This is completely dead space that normally you would never go in. And even if you were like, okay, maybe I have a manner of exploring that doesn't help now, because my experience tells me that when you're looking for stuff in this kind of a RPG, you generally want to hug kind of the walls, right? Like you want to usually the openings will be part of a landmark. So if you just follow the edge of the large ocean, you'll find all the stuff eventually, right? Like, surely you'll notice a crack in the wall in there if that was where the secret. That's the Zelda method, right? This is definitely like a finger pointing if you're a little bit abstract. So if you were in a submarine, like, okay, we'll go this way. Oh, but we didn't have widescreen back then. We only had 4:3 ratio. So that wouldn't have shown up on the Super Nintendo version if the map is the same sprites, same tile set. But yeah, I guess they just assumed you just sail everywhere 5 times until you just randomly hit it in the middle of nowhere. If I was evaluating the game, I would say this is a -1 for the game, because realistically they should give you better directions rather than just, it's in the ocean somewhere, you know. The point of inaccessibility, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if that was on purpose. I wouldn't know if it was on purpose or accidental. But, if it was to pad the game, that's even worse. You know? That's an even bigger crime. Because I didn't feel like, even in the first Final Fantasy, FF1, that I played to death, I don't feel like they put a lot of those overworld tricks. Like, I'm trying to think. They literally gave you a map in the box that showed you where all the towns were. And they told you the names of all of the ones in the southern continent. And had little rooms for you to put the names in and notes for the ones you find later on. The waterfall was one of the few unmarked locations. I guess the desert oasis was a trick, but they did tell you about it in town. They said, go to the desert oasis, there's a merchant there or something. At least I'm pretty sure. Hey, that's not cool. You're not allowed to kill me counterattack. This is not working out well. I mean, maybe it's nostalgia goggles or filters, but at least in my mind, even the first Final Fantasy didn't really waste your time. It was meant to have some room to explore and all that. So am I just gonna get killed if I don't one-shot them? Yeah. So what, are these guys just like... Is this the dungeon where you gotta use magic all the time? Whew. That wasn't even a sage! They're just weak to holy. I kinda had a feeling. So you might get better value out of Excalibur here if they're weak to holy. Because it seems like we're doing half damage with Massa, which is weird. So they might resist physical or just have a lot of defense. Well, we're almost done leveling Samurai. We'll switch over to something maybe more helpful once we hit max Samurai level. I mean, there are other ways of winning these fights, surely. I'm still struggling with Leviathan here. Oh yeah, I wanted to try out attacking with the Wonder Wand. That's pretty good. Maybe I have good memories of bringing Leviathan to this dungeon and just killing everything that's weak to water. Maybe that's why I think Leviathan's so good, because I usually get it before I come here, and this is just a dungeon where Leviathan wipes. Don't need dual cast. I mean, maybe Sildra is cheaper and just as good. I don't think I didn't know, I definitely didn't know in the old days that the air knife boosted air damage. I mean, it sort of makes sense, but back in those days, I don't think in the Super Nintendo era we'd ever had equipment that made your spells stronger. We had items that you could use to cast magic, but I don't think we'd ever had... And we'd had weapons that cast a spell when you hit the enemy. But I don't think before Final Fantasy V we'd ever had equipment that made your spells stronger. At least I don't think so. I mean, Sildra does enough. Leviathan might do a little bit more. Hard to say exactly. Also, 5 more chests to go. I think you can float over the lava. Nemo's Point. Most inaccessible port in the middle of the ocean. That's cool. I was watching a modern day take on the Bermuda Triangle, actually, not too long ago. Trying to explain it a little bit more modern, scientific. And it was just kind of one of those places that there's apparently just a lot of storms, also a lot of traffic, people sailing through all the time, and just a combination of people going there frequently, and just being a, you know, bit of a kind of tropical storm zone. Not particularly hard to navigate, but not really with a lot of landmarks nearby, and also bad weather. Just more than average people died, and then it becomes a bit of a... almost like the mythology of it grows, and all of those, like, sea tales, you know? Me brother was lost in the Bermuda Triangle. No, there was mermaids and stuff, even though the mermaids were like manatees or something, you know. Like, the extravagating. That's not the right word. That's not a word, Blue. You're talking for too long. Manatees, yeah, I mean, right? I mean, the mermaids. They're friendly. They're not gonna kill you. Which one? Okay, well, we should go try to get that treasure chest first. Then we got 2 staircases. Up and down. I don't know which way to go. Oh. You can't go there. I don't think. Maybe. I'm a little bit annoyed. I'm gonna probably upgrade from Sildra to Leviathan here. Because we're not one-shotting the... Well, we actually don't know the name of these things. The unknowns. It's weird how... I wonder why they never gave any enemies a name in this dungeon. Yeah, Excalibur would be probably wiping these guys. This is one of those dungeons, yeah. Our current job selection is not ideal. Oh, also, Butt's just jobbed up, so why is he still a samurai? You're wasting your job points, Blue. Well, you know, there is another weapon besides the Excalibur that technically will do bonus damage and is pretty good. So how do we build a Dragoon that doesn't suck? What's the play here? I don't think you can Spellblade lances. It's really sad. I mean, it does literally say blade, so it's in the name of the ability. But it would definitely be a combo that might work if you could Spellblade a lance. But I think it has to say there's a word on there's a tag on it, right? It has to say can be enchanted, which covers basically swords. Not all swords, but most swords. And it also includes katanas and knives, not samurai weapons, and not lances or axes. And I do kind of understand it in theory, but it kind of it's overly punishing for a job with a weapon that's already a bit on the weak side. There's no reason. I can't think of a good reason why you couldn't have a fire lance, right? Like, if you want to have a enchanted fire lance, you might as well. Anyway, by having a Dragoon, we're gonna... Well, maybe, now that we've mastered... Maybe the best thing we could do would be to dual wield, actually. I was talking about that earlier. I wonder if that would actually work. We really need a better backup lance. What happens if you jump? Okay, we're gonna test some stuff out. We're gonna do some science. We haven't done enough science lately. It's time for science o'clock. We're gonna jump with a spear and a dagger. That almost makes sense for an offhand. You know, you hold your lance with your main hand, and a dagger is small, so you can kind of just give a little stab as you jump away. I mean, that's not totally insane, you'd probably be better off to use the black garb than 3 defense. Sadly, heavy armor, very rarely the best options. Okay, we're gonna try the Dragoon jump. Maybe we'll put him in the back row once we know if it works or not. If we could just get a good backup spear, then we could go Holy Lance plus Dragon Lance or something. First, we'll do a normal attack. 2 grand. Oh man, that dagger is trash. That was much worse than expected. Okay, one more for numbers. 2100 plus 500. Oh, what a waste of a dual wield. So, my hunch is that the dagger is scaling off of his agility, and the spear is scaling off his strength. Which is why the dagger is so much worse. Alright, this is the way forward, right? So the other split should take us to some more sweet, sweet treasure. Okay, good. Same group as last time. Now for the jump. So we're going to lose about a turn, and he's supposed to do double damage, but it's probably more like 50% more damage. 2100 and 550, original numbers. And it is definitely taking him a long time. So the spear was basically doubled, but the dagger seemed about the same. And he was gone a long time. Okay. For a weapon that's supposedly almost as strong. Trash. Let's try... Well, I'd like to... In a great twist, one of the few lances that's kind of good, Dragoon can't equip it. Man, who did the balancing on this? Did any players test this game and ask the developers, hey, there's only like 3 lances in the game. You've got a job that only equips lances. They focus on the lance. The lances can't be spell-bladed, two-handed. There's half a dozen tricks that you can't use on lances. One of those 3 lances, they also can't even equip. We'll give it to ninjas. It boggles my mind. It's like, well, Final Fantasy IV had a Dragoon, right? Everyone loved Kain, so we're just adding him to Final Fantasy V. Are you giving anything? No. He's worse than a fighter. Or a knight or whatever, but... I don't know. Alright, we'll give him a partisan. So it's gonna be... mechanically... what was that? 20 damage less, but we'll see if he does 600 damage or better, you know. They hate lances so much, they don't even give them to the Dragoon. Alright, first off, regular attack with lance. 21, good? That was even worse than the dagger. My hunch was wrong. Okay, next test. Is there like a huge offhand penalty? In theory, it should still be like 300 and then 2100. If it's equal. If it's 600 and then 1000, then you know that the offhand is halved. Although only against that specific enemy that we practiced on. They might be weak against Holy. Okay, it looks like it doesn't matter what weapon... Basically, you're ambidextrous. Is my guess. One more regular attack. 150, Oh, maybe it's not. I'm definitely confused. So yeah, the Holy Lat should be Holy Elemental, which would mean anything that's weak to Holy. Why is Kryl not floating? Excuse me? I spent 10 MP. I expect you to not burn in the lava?